Welcome to the Cowtown Cats Lacrosse Podcast, where we talk all things Panther City Lacrosse Club. Now here are your hosts, Nicholas and Andy.
Well, Panther City came in hoping for their second straight home win against the struggling Colorado Mammoth. Welcome everyone to the Cowtown Cats Lacrosse Podcast. I am Nicholas, joined by Andy.
Hello, hello.
Colorado, as we talked about last week, Colorado came into this game off of two straight losses, kind of feeling not as championship material as we were hoping to see them as this year. And so they were really coming in wanting to prove that they were still a team to be reckoned with, a team that can still stay in this playoff race. And then for Panther City, I mean, they were looking to get a win, another win at home, and gain some ground on the standings. I mean, as we talked about, a win had the possibility of us even moving into a third seed. You know, unfortunately, another game didn't go the way we had hoped for us to kind of move into that spot. But still, a win would have meant a lot for us coming into Saturday night.
Mm-hmm, yeah, thanks a lot, Calgary, and who was it? Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was supposed to be the game where hopefully Saskatchewan would lose, and then we could get the win hopefully, and move into that third spot. But at least that game didn't go our way. I think you were even keeping an eye on that game, weren't you?
Yeah, I was watching that. They were both of the other West Coast games were Friday, so I was keeping track of those. I'm like, and after seeing the results, basically came down to, well, hopefully we win ours so
Right.
we don't lose any ground.
Well, and as far as the start of this game, I mean, Colorado definitely decided, hey, we need to show up, and we'll talk about it throughout the rest of this game. But I think Colorado, for the most part, really tried to show that they are a team still to be reckoned with. Hey, we might be down players, and we might have injuries and problems here and there, but we weren't last year's champ for nothing. So, the first quarter, I mean, yeah, the Colorado defense was very aggressive. I mean, they didn't really allow many good shots from us. In fact, I think, yeah, they scored first. I forget who it was, but they scored first. So, we were like, here we go again with another game of possibly going down. But I would say the man of the year, or the man of the last few games at least, Will Malcolm made sure to get us back on track and with a quick goal, and that was really Will Malcolm starting the game with a goal like that really set the tone, I think, early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And on his goal, Gaucher made a great play picking off two defenders at once. You could see it on the replay where he was basically impeding their progress so they couldn't get in the way of Will's shot. And so just great team play on offense like we've seen for most of the season.
Well, and it reflected with the rest of the team too. I mean, Colorado stuck close with us that first quarter. But even later on, I mean, we were keeping it close. We didn't let them get too far away. Our defense, again, was playing really good. Daymud had some great blocks in that first quarter. But yeah, towards the end of the first quarter, it was kind of even kill. I think they went up, 3-1 at one point. And then towards the end of the first, Caputo, I mean, this was his comeback game, right? I mean,
he'd been out the last two.
Yeah, he'd been out for a few weeks, and so him as a player, I think he wanted to say, "Hey, I'm still here. I can still play."
Yeah, and that's probably my favorite lacrosse dunk that I've seen all season.
I mean, it was perfect. I mean, the shot clock was going down. I think there was like 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Defenders kind of all over the place. He gets the ball from around the right hand corner or the right side corner,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, just keeps his feet right on the outside of the hashes, goes in for the dunk. And I remember, so obviously we were there at the game live, just watching that happen, and then like the goalie trying to keep the goalie up and the goal up, and it just collapses on top of him.
Yeah. The defender that couldn't stay in front of Caputo, actually, I guess he got kind of tangled up or was leaning on the goalpost as the goalie also was kind of recovering from failing to secure the shot, and so it was almost like a perfect insult to injury
Right.
moment, if you will.
If there was a posterizing dunk for lacrosse, that was it. Slam dunk, and as the defender is falling over on himself, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And I think the NLL social media, that was one of their nominees for play of the week, if
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
mistaken.
I think it's still up there for nominees. So, I mean, I don't know how long they keep that voting up, but if you get a chance, be sure to keep
Yeah.
track of that and go vote for him because he definitely deserves it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so unfortunately, we didn't really end the first ahead. I mean, we were close. It was 3-2. And then second quarter, I mean, I think them just being at home revitalizes that team like no other because they started off that second just they hit the ground running. I mean, within the first 5 minutes, I think we went on a 3 or 4-0 run.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. 4 goals.
yeah, scores by what? Donville, Crawford had one, Malcolm had one, Gaucher, which we'll talk about Gaucher a little bit later too. Man, I'm so impressed by he knew he wasn't going to be the top rookie to be talked about this year. I mean, Donville has definitely taken that spotlight from him, but he makes the best out of every time that he's played this year.
And it might be a similar situation to last year where Patrick Dodds was getting a lot of the limelight, but Nathan Grennan was still a major contributor. Obviously, both are big contributors this year, but so it's great to have just this really talented core of young players on the offensive end.
Well, and again, we talked about it at the beginning of the year. It really shows kind of what they're aiming for. They they have a good mix now, and I'm glad that they brought in Fox and Crawford to kind of give him that older player feel to it, but at the same time they're allowing themselves to grow with those young players. But yeah, went on like a great run in that second quarter. Daymud again playing great, getting some good blocks. Our defense is playing great, not allowing like really good, really clear shots at all. I mean, they got off a few shots, but nothing really good and really clean. But yeah, and so even in the second quarter, you could tell this is a different Panther City team than we saw the last time we went against Colorado at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And even thinking about that first game, you thought, okay, well, we lost to the defending champs. However, put into the context of everything, on the telecast they said that one, we were on the second half of a back to back. Two, our flight out of Vegas was at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So, leaving Vegas at 5 a.m. was not necessarily a good recipe for victory. Three, that was before the big Fox and Crawford trades that you alluded to. So, in many ways, we were a completely different team, not just on offense, but also in terms of energy level.
Right, and you could definitely tell that in the second quarter. I mean, so again, we were there live, and I had some friends from Colorado there, and it seemed like for a minute there it was just like score, we stand up, high five, everything's going good. We sit down, score again. All right, we're back up again.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt bad, but at the same time, I was like, it's okay, it's all right. But yeah, second quarter was great for us. I mean that was another great example of like a complete quarter for us where the offense was playing lights out and the defense was keeping up their end as well. I think we only allowed one goal during the second quarter. And so going into halftime, up 7-4, uh, I mean, really, it seemed like the first half couldn't have been played better for us. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. One thing that I would say for Damude in some of these games where we've had big comebacks, he does seem to kind of have to settle in a little bit. Usually that first quarter, yeah, they may allow a few goals here and there, but if it's nothing too drastic, we always have a chance to win later on because he improves as the game goes on. The offense improves as the game goes on. Just everything starts falling into place, usually by the time that second quarter gets underway. And I think that Phil Caputo's shot to end the first was a huge momentum swing because it prevented us from going into the second on a bit tougher of a deficit, if you will.
Right. And yeah, I mean that was only with like I want to say like 10 seconds left or even less
Oh,
before
about
halftime.
36 seconds, so a little under
Yeah.
40.
Oh, okay. So pretty close to halftime. I knew it was right at the end there, but yeah, no, he's again, this was the game for him to show up and be like, hey, don't forget about me. Will
Right.
Malcolm, you know, Gaucher, Donville, Crawford, they can all have the limelight for a few weeks, but I'm still here. In fact, in fact, I keep thinking to myself, like, I know he's got his own nickname. I just keep thinking of like Dr. Phil. And so every time he like really goes off on something, I'm like, yeah, the doctor's in. But no, first half, like I said, really, really good for us. Third quarter, good and bad, I would say. I mean, it was kind of a mix of both. You mentioned in here that Tyler Burton had pretty much a 4 minute major, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
basically.
yeah, and so led to Colorado kind of getting back into the game a little bit. But even still, the attitude we had towards Colorado just again felt different. I
Hmm.
mean, Crawford gets the goal, and then there was, and I won't forget this because again watching it live it was great. But yeah, so we kind of not really turned the ball over. We lost control of the ball. It went into the corner, and Gaucher's over there trying to get the ball, and then another Colorado person comes over, and so it's 3-on-1 trying to get this one ball, and he's literally holding his own over there, and it just starts going to town. He's like, "I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get that ball no matter what." And I mean, I think they ended up calling a penalty against the Colorado guy,
Yeah,
or
one
did they? Or
because
did they?
yeah,
They call it
I think
against
so
us,
because well, I it might have been a no call, but in any case, I remember he got shoved in the back and obviously
yeah.
fell over, and so right when he got up, he just got his stick in the scrum
Mhm.
and basically was like, hey, none of that. And I thought that was going to be his first career fight, honestly, which would have
Right.
been kind of crazy to see because with Donville and Gaucher, they're great lacrosse players, but
Mhm.
I'm sure they have kind of that nice schoolboy image coming into the league. But
Right. Don't
one
know how
thing,
many fights they have, right?
yeah, one thing they did mention on the telecast, Gaucher was a former D2 hockey player, so he's got a bit of that edge to him, and yeah,
Right.
it definitely you almost saw it come out last game.
I mean, yeah, it was just it was amazing, not amazing, but it was just awesome to see. Like he was holding his own against three defenders, and then came out, pretty much with them getting a penalty after it was all said and done. So Crawford gets that goal. Dodds, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about this. Dodds scoop up goal in the third quarter. I mean, the defender blocks it, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of rolling in front of him.
yeah, it was a great block by Dylan Ward, but unfortunately, there he didn't have any teammates around, and the ball
Right.
just kind of rolled right in front of in the crease, and so Dodds just he made a heads
Yeah.
up play, he scooped it up, just popped it right in there.
I mean, again, it shows the different kind of attitude this team had. Just not willing to give up on a play, and not willing to just
Right.
let things lay. Sometimes you'll see that happen where a ball will go out in front, and they're like, okay, we'll go get back on defense and whatnot. But no, I mean, we were there to play. We were there to kind of prove a point. And then yeah, so Colorado again. This would be back on the bad part of the quarter. Colorado scored on another power play. But we stuck in it for the majority of that quarter, even though Colorado did keep it close. I mean, we ended it up 10-6. Obviously we were kind of hoping to pull away a little bit more, and then the fourth quarter happened, and the best way I can describe the fourth quarter is dominance by us. Uh, in the field of play, and then dominance by us at the end of the game. So we'll go through this kind of line by line, but yeah, Daymood was making great saves. Gaucher, gets an easy goal. They pull their goalie,
Yeah,
obviously, and
pretty
they,
early too.
yeah,
I think there was about 4 minutes left when they pulled him. But I
yeah,
guess, when you're down by that much, desperate times to call for desperate
right,
measures.
and they did get a goal out of it. I mean, it's another instance where that 6-on-5 kind of works. Um, but then the last minute of the entire game happened, and I need to go back and watch the replay, but I just remember being in the stands, and it's like, oh, we're counting down to the end of the game, and then just an all-out brawl happens.
Yeah, it was there were I think there were what just over 10 seconds left. The
Yeah.
first thing I remember seeing, I know Medeiros and one of the Mammoth players were getting into it, and then before you know, heads are locking, and
Hmm.
Hutchinson was on the ground getting his like jersey ripped
Right.
off, and
And they're just like, you're talking about 4 or 5 or 6 different players going at it.
yeah.
2 players get ejected from Colorado,
Hmm.
penalties on both sides. And so, yeah, you're like, into the game, 10 seconds left, nothing else is going to happen. Literally, they blow the whistle to start the game again. And here comes Phil Caputo. And that's what I mean. He wanted to make sure everybody didn't forget he was there. Him and I forget who the player was.
Jordan Gillis, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they just start going at it like hammer fist style, and unfortunately, Caputo got ejected for that. So you hate to see that with 10 seconds left. I mean, it wasn't going to affect anything, and hopefully, I don't think this is a league where anything like that rolls over to another game. I think it pretty much just ends at
Yeah,
sometimes if you're in a scrum or something like that, they'll suspend you for a quarter or something, but I don't think that's the case in lacrosse, and so I'll be interesting to keep an eye out for that this weekend. Um, but yeah, I remember the Mammoth player, like, after it, getting up and he's sweating, he's got like blood coming from his
blood, yeah.
nose, and he's like, "Do I go to the penalty box, or am I out?" And the refs are like, "No, dude, you're out. Go, just get out of here."
Yeah. That was a crazy sequence. First from the big kind of multiplayer fight. I know one of the refs, yeah, it seemed like he straight up tackled one of the
Hmm.
Mammoth players to keep him from getting in the mix, and then obviously Caputo and Gills going at it. And then even when the whistle sounded to end the game, it seemed like there was going to be more fisticuffs, but the refs at that point they're quickly breaking it up like,
Oh
no,
yeah.
no, let's get out of here.
Like,
You want
the
like
game's over.
yeah.
Let's shake hands and get out of here. Yeah, yeah. Talking about the refs, I think that's probably why one of the players got ejected, is because I think he did push one of the refs.
Yeah. Hmm.
And just in any sport, I don't think you can
Yeah.
push the ref and get away with it. So,
Hmm.
yes. So we ended the game fighting. I mean, you can't say that we fought any harder than we did. But we ended the game winning 13-7, way off of our predictions. I mean, I think you were the closest one. I think you said they would at least
12-9, right?
12-9. Yeah. So, not quite the same as that. I mean, I was thinking it would be closer. But yeah, it was a great game, and it was a great game, home win for Panther City. I thought Colorado, though, honestly, I thought they played pretty tough. Consider all things considered, they came in again, really wanting to say, "Hey, we're still somebody you have to deal with."
Yeah, they're down some of their key contributors for sure. I think on the Panther City end, let's see. I know we saw Grennan warming up, but we didn't see him get it in the actual playing time. So I don't know if he was just a healthy scratch or what happened there. Fox, I
Yeah,
think, was on the IR with Caputo returning.
yeah. I was kind of curious about Grennan, because yeah, we saw him during warm up, and then he didn't. I don't think he played any minutes at all. So hopefully that's is something just they're trying out with different rotations and seeing, obviously the rotation they have right now. It is funny. I think one thing that we noticed that happened a lot in this game is pretty much anytime Crawford was out there, I think Donville was out there.
Yeah.
Like there was never a moment on offense that they weren't playing like together. I mean, obviously, if they both of them weren't on the field, it's pretty much like when Crawford was out there, you were guaranteed Donville.
Yeah. And on even to expand upon that, it's almost like between the the left wing, the middle at Donville at the point, and then
Hmm.
Malcolm at the right wing. It's almost like you've got a three-headed monster in offense, plus Caputo in there getting his shots from the back,
For
some
sure.
good picks, and then you sub in Gaucher. Dodds is still doing a lot of stuff. I think Dean Farrell made some good plays too. So
Hmm.
it's just a lot of yeah, we've got a pretty stacked offense.
For sure, for sure. So we'll see how that rotation continues as the year goes on. Obviously, this was a great win for Panther City and a great home win, like I said. But of course, it is that time, and it is time for Mr. Andrews' stats of the game. I know he probably has some stats about a fight. Maybe not. No, just kidding. But yeah, Mr. Andrew, what stats do you have for this game?
Well, first off, probably the biggest surprise, and I think it surprised the commentators on the telecast too. We won the first half face-offs 8-4, which is quite honestly, pleasantly, surprisingly out of character for Panther City. And, Tyler Burton was back in there, and we ended the night 12 of 22. I don't remember whether Burton took all of them, but that was really key in helping keeping the Mammoths transition game in check. And I'll go into this a little bit later, but that winning that face-off battle, even just having it a smidgen over 50%, really had a trickle-down effect on the rest of our game. Beyond that, Damien played a great game after that first quarter. He went 39 of 46 overall for basically an 85% save percentage. Of course, the defense, it's hard to track these statistics, but there were a lot of caused turnovers, and I think I want to say Connor Sellers had a really great block in the second quarter, just kind of catching the ball right when McLaughlin was about to pass it, just absolutely took his lunch money. And what Nick was alluding to, this was easily the most penalty minutes I've ever seen in a box lacrosse.
All at the very end,
score.
right? No, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. So Panther City ended up with 24 minutes, and you think, oh gosh, that's a lot of penalties. But Colorado ended up with 46.
46 minutes?
Yeah. And so they almost doubled up what was already an egregious amount of penalty time. And yeah, a good, obviously the bulk of that was in the fourth, but even throughout the game, we did until, at least for the first half, we did a decent job kind of holding things in check, making sure until the fisticuffs happened that any penalties we did get were minor. So yeah, and even this is a little bonus. One nice thing about watching the replay on ESPN Plus, they did have some stats on John Donville. They mentioned how he is a 4-time Rookie of the Week. After this past weekend, like possible 5-time Rookie of the Week.
Right.
He currently leads all rookies in points and assists. He's second in goals, and he's first in the league in power play points. And so just coming from a rookie, that's pretty amazing. And on top of that, him, along with teammate Liam Patton, they both work for the Dallas Wings in the area. So they've kind of worked to set up roots in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to know that some of the players have moved down to this area, because it really shows that they're invested in the area. So that's really good. Yeah, so of course, I mean, with that many minutes, you can definitely say that is a stat of the game. But that was, of course, Mr. Andrews' stats of the game. We move on. This game definitely had a lot of moments for sure, but there's only a few cool cat plays of the game. I will actually, I had one written down. I'm actually going to change I'm going to change it, because I had originally thought something first quarter, but you made me remember Dodd's scoop up and score. I honestly thought that was a big play of the game, because it just, again, it set the tone. It said, "Hey, I'm gonna slam this ball in." So yeah, Dodds. What was that, third quarter? I mean, he was able to have the wherewithal to know, hey, that ball's right there. Nobody's around it. I'm gonna take advantage, and he took advantage. Great. I mean, it was a great shot. It was a great shot on goal, and putting your team up even more like that. I thought was amazing. So yeah, that's definitely my cool cat play of the game.
Dodds' shot is one of a few honorable mentions I got to hand out because it seemed like there were at least three goals that we got unassisted off of loose balls. Dodds off of Ward's block and his inability to recover it. Um, Gaucher had one that kind of bounced, ended up in his direction. He just scooped it up, ran to the goal, got it in the net. I mentioned Sellers block on McLaughlin earlier. I thought that was a fantastic defensive play, even if it didn't lead to points. That kind of pressure really really can rattle a defense and make them think, oh gosh, like what can I do against this
Right.
defense? And then, but the one I do have to go to is another one that came off of a loose ball or an offensive rebound. It's got to be the Caputo dunk to end the first quarter. Like, again, I think that really swung the momentum in Panther City's favor.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a little bloopery, um, comical moment for reigning Finals MVP Dylan Ward. So
But
yeah,
but it was a great play. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
you can't. That's something you can't just expect to happen. It was just. I mean, Phil. Yeah, and I'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, those are of course our cool cat plays of the game. Well, of course we have to talk about our big cat players of the game or player of the game. I'm gonna let you go first. Who is your big cat player of this game?
I gave a shout out to the defense in particular this game. The offense, all the usual suspects did a great job, and it is a very balanced attack. So, guys like Crawford, Malcolm, Donville, they definitely spread the love around. I wanted to give shout outs in particular to Tyler Burton, one for going above 50% off faceoffs, but also for collecting 9 loose balls. I know he's one of the older vets on the team, but he's still got a lot of game left on him and played great aggressive defense and faceoffs. Liam Burns also had a great game. He had 4 caused turnovers, 6 loose balls, and 1 block to really help provide that aggressive defense that we needed. And all that did a great job maximizing our possessions while limiting Colorado's. My ultimate player of the game, however, is a familiar candidate just because he's having such a good season, Nick Damude. He held another opponent to single digits after having probably an underwhelming first quarter by his standards, which really shows his ability to make those mental and physical adjustments.
Nice, yeah, and again, Damude, I feel like he's played super solid this year. A little rough at the beginning of the year, but he's found his footing. For me, big cat player of the game, to come back from 2 weeks off and from injury and to show up and like he did, he is the man of the hour. Phil Caputo, my gosh, play of the game, getting goals left and right, and then ending the game the way he did.
Yeah, punch of the game.
Yeah, punch of the game. Yeah, knockout of the game. Whatever you want to say. Yeah, no, the man was on a mission, and he showed up big time, and so he is definitely my big cat player of the game. Well, of course, we come from this game beating Colorado 13-7. I mean, any final thoughts on this last home game that we had?
Well, it was great to avenge the loss after that back to back, coming off the pretty dominant win over Vegas in Las Vegas. So it's always good to get that revenge back. I did notice that we had multiple runs of multiple goals in this game, whereas the Mammoth they started out with one, but that was it. So that really helped us. I mentioned it earlier. Everything seemed to be clicking, from whether it be face-offs to the effort on loose balls. I didn't even mention on after the first half we had won the loose ball battle 48-24. So we essentially doubled up Colorado's amount of loose balls, and that's with having not that great a first quarter. So they really kicked it up a notch after getting into that early deficit.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, it was very hard for Colorado to get a rhythm going. It seems like they would get a little bit momentum and then it would go back down. So uh, it was good to see. Like I said, feel like it was a really good complete quarters from us overall. maybe not still not that complete game that I'm looking for,
Hmm.
but overall a really good showing from us. Well, we leave Colorado from our home game, and we look forward to Colorado in our away game as we go up north to Denver to the Loud House to take on the Mammoth in a game I am very kind of worried about, to be honest. I was slightly worried about this week just because Colorado was coming off those two losses. I'm extremely worried about this week because now they're coming off of three losses and pretty much getting their teeth kicked in at the end of the game. And being back home, I really feel like this is a game where we have to really bunker down and prove to them and prove to the rest of the league, uh, we are that good. We can be that good. It's going to be hard. That atmosphere up there is electric. Even watching it on TV, it's it's like I said before. It's called the Loud House for a reason. So I would say right now I'm slightly worried about it. What do you think about our game going against Colorado?
Yeah, from as I understand, they have one of the best home field or home courts, whatever you'd call it, in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won the title with those fans behind them, so it's got to count for something. I think I don't imagine we'll if we win. I don't think it'll be by 6 goals again. Not with them in desperate need of a win, and not with them having gotten to those fights at the end of this last game. I think that this game will mean a little bit more to them than it otherwise would have. So yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty worried too, but
Yeah.
I have faith in the guys, and I think with the way that Damute's playing and the way these new offensive additions of Crawford and Fox didn't play last game, but overall how they've been doing, um, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I would say just looking at this game as a whole, as much as I want to win, and this will be the second time I've done this year. I am going to say that I think Panther City comes out with a loss.
Ooh,
And I don't want it. I don't want it. But I can see this being a game where Colorado comes out hot. And I mean, like, white hot to the point where they could start, our old trend of being down 3 to nothing super fast can come back kind of hot. I don't think it'll be a blowout either way. I do think it'll be another kind of lower end scoring. So I'm going to say Colorado wins, even though I don't want to say that they will. I say Colorado wins, and I'm going to say my prediction is 9-8. They're going to win 9-8.
well, I'll let you be the glass half empty guy. I'll be the glass half full
There you go.
full
Right.
host.
That's why there's two of us.
I think, yeah, I think it's going to be difficult, going to be a hard physical battle all night. It is kind of interesting. I believe this is our first Friday night game of the season. I don't know whether that makes any difference. If the NFL and Thursday night football is any indication,
Right.
hopefully it'll be there'll that extra or that one less day of rest hopefully has a minimal effect. I'm picking Panther City to win by the score of 12-11.
12-11. Okay.
Yeah, I think Colorado's going to be able to score better than they did in front of their home crowd, and will do just enough to stay ahead.
Yeah. Well, speaking about, so you mentioned it there about like how it's an evening game that night. I had actually, so the NLL post on their page every week about their game of the week. And so kind of a running joke, I've been, tapping in every once in a while, be like, hey, we're still waiting for that Panther City game of the week. And I will give a quick shout out to on Instagram. His name is Harrison MVH. He said, yeah, they had one early in the season, but those are usually Canadian teams because of it being TSN, the game of the week. I
Right.
get that. I get Canada is obviously where lacrosse is more popular and they get a ton of love up there. But hey, we're doing some good things down here, and we not might not be, the hottest team in North America. Well, in the U.S., I should say. I mean, you can give that to Buffalo or something like that. But hey, give us some love at some point, TSN. I'm just saying. But anyway, yes, we go looking forward to what we hope to be a good game. Again, I will be the guy that's half empty on the glass for this one, but I really do hope that we come out for a win. Well, once again, this is the Cowtown Cats Lacrosse podcast. We thank you guys again for listening and tuning in. Of course, once again, I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Andy.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Cheers, y'all.